Hi there. Welcome to the INC Capital YouTube channel. My name's Ilana and I'm the founder of INC Capital, where we offer citizenship and residency by investment solutions to our clients. Today, I want to specifically talk to you about the Portugal Golden Visa program. I live in Portugal and have done business in the Portuguese Golden Visa program for more than 10 years. It's a program that's changed multiple times over the years as the political and financial situation in Portugal changed. So that often explains why programs change when you least expect it. Today, the Golden Visa program allows our investors to become resident in Portugal by making a €500,000 investment into private equity or venture capital funds. There is also an option where you can donate money, 250,000 or 200,000 euros, depending on the area where you're investing, into a charitable contribution or a foundation. So that then becomes a donation rather than an investment. So it very much depends on what it is you want to do. When we look at these fund investments that are available for our clients, it offers the whole market. It offers a variety of different options into different sectors of the economy. So you can be exposed to hospitality, renewable energy, agriculture, corporate bonds, government bonds. You can even invest 100% of your funds into a crypto portfolio if that is what you want to do. So there's a lot of investment opportunity available. But we often are asked about how do I qualify? How does it actually work? So the first thing we do, obviously, is have a look at what your family situation is. Are you including a spouse? Are you including children? On the spouse side, so by the way, you are allowed to include a same-sex spouse. Or somebody that you've been in a relationship with for a long period, as long as we can prove that relationship. When we're looking at how you can include your children, your kids have to be financially dependent, single, and full-time students at the time that we make the application, as well as at the first 2 renewals of the residency period. Thereafter, when we apply for permanent residency or citizenship, that status can change. So we have to be careful when we start this process to understand what your kids' future looks like and how long they'll be dependent on you and how long they want to be remaining students. When we look at the actual process of the program, when we've established that this is in fact the way to go, we will first start the application in Portugal, where we will apply for you for a NIF or a tax number. That's a non-resident tax number, so it doesn't automatically make you tax resident in Portugal, but it is required for everything else we do thereafter. We use that tax number to open a bank account in your personal name, and at the same time, we start helping you with the fund selection. The funds also have compliance processes to go through, so we normally combine these two so that we can open the account, choose the funds, do their compliance, all of that simultaneously. Once you've selected your fund, you have to transfer money from your account in your home country to your new bank account in Portugal. In some cases, you are allowed to invest directly into the funds, but there's very specific criteria for that. Once you've made that investment, we can then request all the necessary investment certificates from the bank, from the different funds, and we then prepare your file for submission to IMA, which is the immigration authority. One of the things that we need is civil documents from your home country. So depending on who is all included in the application, we will need things like criminal records that's been apostilled in your home country. If you are married, we'll need a marriage certificate. If you are including children, we will need your children's birth certificates to prove the relationship. All of these documents get apostilled, and we submit that then with proof of the investment to the IMA portal. Once your application is recognized, IMA will invite you to come to Portugal for a biometrics appointment. After that, biometrics, and biometrics, so by the way, is a very simple process. You visit IMA, we hand all the official documentation to them, they take a photograph, they take your fingerprints, and that's the biometrics done. So it's not a very onerous process, it takes about 3 minutes. So once your biometrics have been captured, IMA will then have 90 days within which to assess your file, and then they will grant you your first residency permit. These residency permits are valid for 2 years, so they're considered temporary residency permits, and you can renew them every 2 years for as long as you hold the underlying investment. If after 5 years of holding residency, you want to apply for permanent residency, you can do so, but at that point, you would have to have passed a level A2 Portuguese language test, and we have to prove that you've complied with the residency requirements. Once you've applied for permanent residency, you are then able to disinvest from the funds that you've selected, provided that the fund's rules allow you to do that. So some funds are open-ended and a little bit easier to exit. Other funds have a specific term that we have to consider when you want to exit. At the moment, and this is the end of 2025, we are still able to apply for citizenship after 5 years of holding residency. The law is currently under review and at the Constitutional Court, where we do expect it to change to a 10-year period. As of today, you can apply after 5 years, and if it goes the way we expect it to do, you might only be eligible for citizenship after 10 years, which brings it in line with the rest of Europe. So Portugal is unique in the sense that it is the only program in Europe where you can make this investment, make the application, receive your residency permit, and not be compelled to relocate and live in Portugal to continue to receive the residency benefits. So once you've applied for residency, you have to spend 2 weeks in that next 2-year period to be allowed to renew your residency. Once you apply for permanent residency, there's no obligation to stay here. So you'll get a 5-year permanent residency card, and then you can apply for citizenship either after the 5 years or after the 10 years, depending on how the law changes. So some of the reasons why people invest in Portugal is because it allows them to continue to have their lives back home, to continue to live where they do, to continue to perform their duties and their jobs, get the kids through school without having to relocate. So you can still be in a position to apply for permanent residency or citizenship without actually having to move to Portugal. Of course, if you want to move to Portugal, you are entitled to do so. So you have the right to relocate and live here permanently, 365 days of the year. And as soon as you have that residency card, you have access to free healthcare, you have access to free education in the public schools, of course, not private schools, and you have a work permit. So the whole family will be granted work permits. So that makes it a very flexible program where you can apply without actually having to relocate. So in my mind, Portugal over the years has been a very good investment option for clients that don't necessarily want to relocate immediately. I think one of the main things that changed over the years was that real estate is no longer a qualifying underlying investment. So keep that in mind if you do want to move to Portugal. Do the Golden Visa to get your legal status, get the flexibility of being able to come and go as you please, but then purchase your real estate or your property in a different capacity. So not using the visa for that purpose. So this is a great way to get a foot into the door in Europe. It's a very good program. It does work. It's very frustrating on occasions because of the bureaucracy and the delays and processes and admin, etc. But it's a program that's worked for thousands of investors over the years. And if you'd like to be informed of more developments in Portugal, please do have a look at the channel. There's a couple of videos that we've done about very specific topics. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. You can always stay in touch and see what the latest news is.